road races are fucked for me.
What's up, Sharia?
Hey Joel, we are back.
Face to face this time.
Yeah, welcome back to Bangalore, dude.
Yeah, so here we'll kick things off straight away with the women's BBCH Classic Peloton. Pretty solid field. You can see about 10 to 15 people started. There is this big gap that's created with Blossom, Seema and
Star
Nasri. So huge gap. At the peak, this gap was around 30 seconds to the Peloton.
Yeah, it got caught because all three of them didn't work. Like they could have worked together to keep the. I think only Star and Blossom were working.
Yeah. But the best time that they should have actually worked there because the tailwind would have actually benefited them slightly over there.
Right. So you see like Tim and Bindia had to work a lot to cover up that gap.
What happened? What happened to your rear wheel?
Mechanical for Priya, her brakes were touching her wheel.
Like post race, she was telling about how she's putting 500 watts on climbs and not going anywhere with it. Thanks to our support car, they seem to have decided to stop after this climb.
I don't know why you'd want to do another climb with your brakes touching, but yeah, Blossom's at the front keeping the pace steady.
Yeah, which is painful for Priya in the back, I think, because
so I think they finally communicate to Blossom that Priya has an issue and she sort of eases up, which allows Priya to go to the front, create a little bit of a gap, and then the boys prepare for her arrival.
Oh, Leander's here. So this is our retired rider, Leander Wheatley, who was on support duty.
Surprise support duty.
Yeah, well supported the women's peloton.
So here
Full
we
stop.
go, guys. This is this is the Formula 1-ish style.
So I hate these brakes, man. You can't you have no access.
You can't even see if it's touching because it's underneath your chain rings.
I have ridden two bikes like that, the Scott Solis and the Boardman, and both of them have these.
You can't even open up the brakes, but pretty decent job by Ben and Lee to figure out that it was the wheel that wasn't seated properly, which meant that the quick release was in the dropouts a bit.
She's brakes. Lost 20 seconds by this time.
So this is past the U-turn. And so what happens here, we don't have the footage of it, but you can see Star is chasing down someone. So the girls said that Priya attacked and it was immediately closed down. And then there was a flyover coming up ahead. And then Blossom winded up a pretty substantial attack into it. And at the top of the flyover, she had around 15 seconds gap on the peloton. And you can see Star trying to close that down.
Oh, this is some strong effort by Star. And she does manage to close the gap up. So, but when she does manage to close that gap up, what happens is Bindia and Tim don't want to let this move go.
Yeah.
So they go ahead, leave Nandini, Priya and Swati back behind here.
Yeah, so now Nandini and Priya have to somehow make their way across. So I think Nandini does a solid 7-minute effort on her own to bridge the gap, and Priya just lets the wheel go, forcing Swati to close down that gap if she wants to be part of the race.
Oh, that's Nandini closing up the big gap created because the Blossom's kind of alone now in the front. That's Tim in the pink jersey and Blossom, Nandini, Bindia and Star. So
it's a pretty solid group.
Swati had to put a huge effort too. But good job by Priya there because,
letting the wheel go and forcing, your competitors to close down a gap is a very essential thing for, helping for a team result. And so basically the reason this gap was even closable was because once Nandini joined, I think everybody sat up. Because if you look at the Strava data, they were doing around 40 kilometers per hour.
If I was competing against LVB, I would have kept the pace up because
for sure.
Priya had dropped back, and
if the pace was high, Nandini would not have been able to close that gap as easily as well. Yeah.
So the moment you single out a teammate and isolate them, you need to keep the pace high because the teammates are always itching to get back.
Correct.
And that is
they will do it the most efficient way possible.
Right. Yeah.
So okay, let's go to this clip. Star signals to her left, and I think she's just noticed she's got a puncture, which is very unfortunate because the girl said that she was riding extremely hard and a solid ride. She was on for a good finish, but as luck had it, with 8Ks to go, she's got a...
Shit, this is the Trailblazers' point of view, and really bad time to have a puncture because you're closing in on this finish now.
I think there's one more flyover and then Yeah, that's basically 2K to go, the final.
Right. So now the
Check.
group's reduced to close to 5 riders? 6 riders?
6 riders at this moment.
6 riders, 3 girls from LBB, Tim from Old Goats, there's Swati
Swati.
and Bindya.
Bindya from Chennai. So
Right. So they're coming down. I
so this
really
is with
expected
2K to go.
Right.
So what we're looking at is Shaurya's point of view and Nandini's point of view with the rear. So I think Nandini goes now for a final dig, and everybody is in a rush to get onto her wheels. Things get kind of sketchy, but she's got a gap. She's got about, let's say, 3 bike lengths.
Well, yeah, more than 3 bike
More
lengths.
than 3 bike lengths. So yeah, so now it's one more small kicker, and then you just
And then
descend
there's a
to the
downhill
finish.
finish. Yeah.
But there comes the truck, the infamous truck.
Oh.
So you can just see him, no indicator, anything, comes from far right and just cuts straight across to the left and catches everyone off by surprise. People
Shit.
slam brakes.
Dude, I'm getting PTSD watching
Yeah,
this.
so Blossom couldn't go around the truck because there was another truck on the other lane, and she couldn't unclip in time.
She
So
crashed.
she unfortunately took a tumble.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate. And
Fuck man, road races are fucked for me.
But what happened to the rest of the...
so this is Nandini's point of view. So now Priya and Nandini have managed to squeeze past, with their only other competitor being Bindya. I'm gonna pause here, and she is far away.
Dude, that looks like close to 200 meters, I think.
Yeah, at about 150 to 200 meters away. And we're just gonna play this through, because right now Priya and Nandini are on for 1-2 easily.
Yeah. I would say the race is done here.
Yeah, the race is
How
done
far
here.
are we from the finish now?
Well, exactly 750 meters from the finish at this moment. Yeah,
Right
and
now.
Bindya
Oh,
almost
there's
got
a car.
taken out by a
Oh.
car.
Oh, double danger.
Yeah. So right now is a descent, but they're going into a headwind because of the buildings. The crosswind changes into a slight headwind.
Right.
So it would have been better for
Well,
Priya
you're
and
also
Nandini.
rolling down at 40
Yeah,
kmph.
exactly. And Priya and Nandini are riding side by side. You can't see it from this point of view, but they are riding beside each other, which is not the most efficient thing.
There's a wheel you see on the side,
So
which...
So what they should have been doing ideally is rotating turns, and then if they wanted to sprint for the finish.
Right.
But they are doing their individual.
Well,
trial
here,
efforts.
if you have Priya's data, she's doing 100 RPM, by the way.
Yeah.
here, and doing like 150
completely
watts.
undergeared.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
And
happened.
she doesn't even attempt to sit onto Nandini's wheel, unfortunately. So she's just losing the distance. But slowly and steadily, you can see that black shadow closing in on these two.
Not
and
giving
that's
up at
Bindya.
all.
So
What do you estimate she was doing here?
So I've
what
looked at-
power-wise?
So we have Nandini's power, and Nandini was normalized 230 for the last
and
3
here
minutes.
she crosses.
Yeah,
Oh.
and Bindya crosses Priya, but over here there's a sketchy moment for Nandini. I think there's a U-turn that comes up, and a car takes the widest possible U-turn, almost knocking her. You see Bindya put her hand up.
Right.
That is to ask the car to stop, but he takes the widest possible U-turn, which forces her to slam brakes, and those 2 kilometers per hour that she lost is all that Bindya needed
and
to
that's...
take her with 50 meters to go on the line. 50 meters to go, and 1 touch of brakes, and that was it. First
never-
place was over.
Yeah, never say never, I think. Basically, the race is never over until it's over. You gotta keep putting...
I mean, hats off to Bindya for that effort, man. Like, after almost nearly getting killed by a truck and then a car, but still literally just tunneling in on that finish line, and what a solid effort.
Yeah, and kudos to the girls from LBB, Nandini and Priya, and Blossom, who crashed but is safe. There's nothing,
safe,
yeah, nothing major happened. But the guy on the truck got thrashed, dude.
Yeah, I don't know the story about that.
I was there. It was quite a scene there.
Yeah, so the girls brought home a 2-3
Yeah.
after a solid race. I mean, I think this is the longest women's race.
In a while, yeah,
In a while.
post pandemic, and
Yeah.
it's so nice to see. This probably is the first women's race analysis that I think anyone's done
In
the
India,
Indian scene.
100%. Yeah, for sure. So,
Yeah.
hopefully to a first of many.
Yeah.
And
Thanks to Trailblazers for the video. We took some content from them,
Yeah.
and Ben again got some real nice pit stop, wheel change, brake rub footage.
yeah. And congratulations to the girls for putting on a good show.